Good afternoon. Thank you very much for attending this session. My name is Mark Wood and I work for Oxford Semantic Technologies. I'm here today to introduce you to RDFX and to give you some insight into our unique capabilities and performance. Obviously, we've only got a 10-minute session, so I will try and go through things as comprehensively as possible. For those of you that I know many of you. I've been in this space now for about 4 years, and prior to this, I've remained in the vendor space. So I've come to know a number of you and learning new things all the time. So let's talk about RDFX. RDFX is a unique knowledge graph with a basic reasoning engine, which is unmatched in terms of its performance around load, query, and reasoning. It was built from the ground up by the Semantics team at Oxford University, and it brings in some pretty unique capabilities around the reasoning functionality. You can see functionality like incremental reasoning, which, if you understand the concept of reasoning, that's the ability to apply reasoning within your graph, and when you make updates to those reasoning components, then it only actually updates the elements of the graph that need to be updated. So performance is obviously a very vital part of that. The whole platform itself is built to run in memory. It was written in C++ using patented algorithms, and whilst it is operating in memory, it also does have a persistent layer to disk should you wish to use that. And that's something that obviously some companies like to be able to apply. The technology itself was built by some of the cleverest minds in the space. Offers the best in breed in terms of performance. We'll obviously add to that capability of being able to use the rules and reasoning in the application of some of the most complex problems that exist today. In terms of our performance, we outperform pretty much all the other graph solutions out there in independent tests. We typically see a 10x improvement in terms of performance at both query and also at data load. And if you add into the factor of utilizing rules and reasoning on your application, the queries can then be simplified, and further improvements can make significant improvements in terms of performance, where we can quite often see 20 to 100 times faster performance. Now, you may think that's not a lot, but it is actually a significant differentiator in a number of applications. For companies that already have a knowledge graph in place, RDFX can actually be used to complement your existing solution as well. It can sit alongside your existing solution and act as the brains to do that rules and reasoning application. The platform can obviously also be used as a standalone knowledge graph. So let's talk about some of the actual rules and reasoning and their application in the real world. So the application of rules and reasoning within the knowledge graph industry has come about pretty much as a natural evolution of the space. And it's been sought after by a number of people for some time now. Many people can think of different applications where this can be applied. However, the failure of maybe some of the other solutions in the marketplace that have been around to date to be able to deliver reasoning at a performant level has led to a pretty low adoption of this particular technology, and that has obviously hindered a lot of projects that require those sort of complex requirements. However, RDFX was built from the ground up to solve this conundrum, and to do so at the same time as delivering that sort of unmatched query and load performance that we're so grateful to have. This has led to us being able to solve some unique challenges for a number of clients and prospects. To solve a number of these particular challenges. And this has led to being able to solve unique challenges for our clients and prospects. So let's look at some of these real world solutions that we're looking and dealing with today. So let's take Festo, for example. Festo is a worldwide leader in the automation space, and they've been using RDFX to build a product configurator application for the electronic drive-to-train solutions that they sell to their clients. The solutions they assemble by building combinations from thousands of possible parts, motors, controllers, axes, etc. Vesto RDFX rules compute which components are compatible with each other in a matter of seconds. And if you can imagine, there are literally thousands and thousands of these components. So for somebody to be able to come in and actually find the specific part that they need is no easy task whatsoever. So the configurator itself covers millions of possible permutations, all of which are pre-computed up front, because they have to be in order to be able to make the decisions and to be able to provide the results back to the user as quickly as possible within milliseconds, so that when that user is actually presented with the configurations, they've all been calculated up front in advance, and then they know that they're getting something that is a compatible solution. And this can only be achieved by using the RDFX rules and reasoning capabilities to be able to do all of that upfront pre-computed heavy lifting, so that the users can get to the results in the fastest possible time to get to the solution. Let's look also at BMW. So at BMW, RDFX was being used as they explore ways of being able to bring both high definition map and sensor data together to guide autonomous driving. And if you're familiar at all with autonomous driving, one of the complex parts of this whole process is that the systems that exist today either are based around sensor data alone or map data alone, and neither has actually tried to address the combination of the two together. And that's exactly what RDFX has been doing, combining the two together and performing reasoning based on this data, so that you can quickly identify the full lists of risks and hazards that exist as you're progressing down the road. The data is integrated in real time, and reasoning used to add a layer of meaning on top of the raw data. All of this comes together inside of RDFX and provides the safest environment for the car to make progress and operate autonomously. We have actually got a video of this on our website, and I believe it is also loaded up in our vendor page as well. But if not, feel free to visit our website and you can see exactly how that application is being deployed today. In financial services, trading fraud and wash trading are some of the most complex applications that are actually out there that financial organizations are trying to solve. The real challenge with this is the need to match complex potential links to a party to identify potential fraud. These applications typically require the solution to filter out a lot of noise by looking for patterns within the activity. And being able to find and connect the relationships and do this quickly is not always the easiest thing to do. Again, by utilizing the rules and reasoning capabilities with RDFX, we can actually filter out the noise that can get in the way, making implicit data explicit and creating those relationships and connections in the raw data that are otherwise hidden. Again, as with other use cases, this needs to be done quickly, and it takes advantages of some unique capabilities around both numerical and time-based reasoning. Again, that is something that would not be achievable without taking advantage of those unique capabilities that exist within RDFX. So to conclude, I think this is certainly an interesting one, but I think when I look at the marketplace with both the traditional database world and the graph database world, it becomes very clear and evident that there are different databases that are solving different problems. I'm not aware yet, and I've not seen as of yet, a single knowledge graph database or graph database that includes both, the property graphs as well as the semantic graphs. There isn't one solution out there that can meet all the requirements of every business application. And I was in a session earlier actually where that was exactly said as well. Each individual graph solution can solve a specific problem and is better at solving a specific problem. Obviously, in the case of RDFX, we do have a strong point in terms of obviously the reasoning capabilities, but we also have a very strong point in terms of the performance capabilities as well. For example, how many of you have experienced a situation where you are having to write the largest Sparkle query out there. And this Sparkle query can take, say, 2 to 30 minutes to run, or possibly even time out. Did you know that actually if you build a lot of the context that's within that query actually into a rule, you could bring that down to a millisecond query? And that in its own, in its own right is a huge win, especially if that's a particularly business orientated application that requires, very quick response times in terms of the results. The other question that you could ask yourself is how many of you have had to wait hours while your database reloads? It has a failure, you have to bring it back up online, and you're making changes to it, and you're having to reload that data set again. Again, the speed to be able to reload your data is absolutely critical in certain applications. And in cases where you're potentially loading trillions, or sorry, not trillions, but billions of triples, then you're going to be in a situation where you could be waiting a very long time. And again, inside RDFX, we have an unrivaled ability to be able to load data at a very performant level. We've done tests against many other vendors out there and have typically exceeded their performance within 10 to 30 times the performance, being able to deliver a reload of the database. What I would do is I would encourage you all to go to our website. You can learn more about RDFX. You can download a free trial. There's plenty of content available, plenty of blog posts, plenty of information relating to these cases that I've discussed today as well. You can arrange a demo with us. You can come and speak to us in our vendor room after this session. And you can also follow us on our LinkedIn and Twitter pages as well. Again, thank you so much for your time today. Please go and try out RDFX. I know you won't be disappointed, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you very much.